What's good, y'all? So in this video, we're gonna touch on the Warriors Media Day. Let's get it. So training camp has officially kicked off, and with that, the Warriors did their Media Day. So we basically got to hear from every player on the roster. Starting with Andrew Wiggins. First and foremost, rest in peace to Andrew Wiggins' pops. Wiggins is coming off a disappointing last few years. Ever since the 2022 title, he hasn't been the same. A lot of people are counting out Wiggins already, saying that 22 run was an anomaly, and the rest of his career is the norm. And it's hard to argue with anybody that has that stance. But with everything we've been hearing, it sounds like Wiggins is in great shape, and he's had a great summer working out. Wiggins is motivated to have a bounce-back season. A reporter asked him about possibly playing shooting guard this season, and what's the difference between a small forward and shooting guard on this roster. Wiggins said on this team, how the Warriors deploy their players, there's really no difference between the two positions. They're essentially interchangeable, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of Andrew Wiggins at the 2 this year. Wiggins also said he intends to score more this season, after scoring a career-low 13 points per game last season. Steve Kerr intends to involve him more in the offense, so hopefully we can see Wiggins back around 18, 19 points per game, along with some elite perimeter defense. The last time Wiggins was that level of a consistent two-way player, the Warriors were pretty damn good, and they ended up winning a championship in 22, with him as the second best player on our title team. Honestly, Wiggins is one of the biggest swing factors for this team. If he puts together a consistent season where he's even 90% of what he was in 22, this Warriors team is going to be better than people think. Next up, let's talk about Kyle Anderson, who apparently changed his jumper this offseason. Just from the short clips we saw, his jumper looks a lot more fluid, a lot less robotic, and he just has better mechanics overall. Pajimski said Kyle Anderson shooting well in scrimmage, but obviously, we still got to wait and see how it transfers to NBA games. During his media availability, Slomo said that Draymond told him to prepare to play center next season. I mean, it's only natural. He fits the description. 6'9", 7-foot wingspan. How many other players check that box? TJD, Looney. The Warriors have an obsession with undersized centers. Now, I'm not sure how Kyle Anderson will hold up as a small ball center, but I do know he has a high defensive IQ, and he has a lot more length than you expect. I believe he has a 7'3" wingspan, so he's sneaky long. Pause. As long as you surround him with sufficient defensive talent, he should be okay. Next up, we got Jonathan Kuminga, who's coming into camp with a whole new look. He's rocking the blonde hair, blonde facial hair. That's what's up, bro. He's trying to reinvent himself. He's trying out some new looks. Hey, man, as long as he's hooping on the courts, I don't care how he shows up to the games. If his blonde hair helps him channel his inner Dennis Rodman on the boards, I'm all for it. Kuminga's been putting in a lot of work this offseason, and the Warriors are expecting him to take that year for a leap. And to be honest, they need him to. With the way the roster construction is, they're banking on Kuminga to grow into that second option role. He has the ideal archetype, a 6'7", uber-athletic two-way wing that plays with force downhill and has every physical tool you can ask for. Year 4 is right around that time where players with his archetype usually explodes. And playing a contract year with 240 M's on the line, something tells me Kuminga's about to go off this season. If he takes another leap, the Warriors are going to be really dangerous. Next up, we got De'Anthony Melton. I got a feeling Melton's going to be one of my favorite Warriors. Dude got that dog mentality. He's defense first. He takes pride in his defense. He said he likes getting steals and he likes getting stops. He's a pretty similar player to GP2, except he has shot creation, three-point shooting, and a little bit of passing. De'Anthony Melton's going to be a key piece for this Warriors roster, and my preference would be for him to be the starting shooting guard next to Steph Curry, with his ability to space the floor, as well as be a secondary ball handler, go along with elite perimeter defense. The Warriors are aiming to be a top 6 defensive team, and they're going to need Kyle Anderson and De'Anthony Melton to make that happen. I definitely think the Warriors got enough pieces to be a top 5 defensive team. A locked-in Wiggins with a healthy De'Anthony Melton. That right there is already a pretty fearsome two-way tandem. Those are 2 elite perimeter defenders. Then you also got a healthy GP2 on Kyle Anderson, with Draymond Green anchoring the defense. I think Paz is going to come back and improve defensive player. I think TJD is going to come back and improve defensive player. I think Looney, who's in great shape, is going to have a bounce-back defensive season. The Warriors got a pretty solid collection of defensive pieces. When you add in assistant coaches like Jerry Stackhouse, who's going to put a big emphasis on defense. The Warriors have all the personnel and coaching they need to have an elite defensive season. Circling back to Kevon Looney, who looks like he's in the best shape of his career. Not only is he expecting to get back to the defensive player he was a few years ago, he's looking to add a 3-ball to his offensive game. Yeah, you heard that right. Looney's going to be shooting threes this season. He said he's taking 400 to 500 threes a day, and he's going to make a concerted effort to take a few threes a game. He said he's not going to be out there like Klay Thompson jacking threes, but when the defense is sagging off and he's wide open, instead of a going into a dribble handoff of Steph, he intends to take those open threes given by the defense. Like I mentioned in a previous video, I don't expect Looney to be some big threat from 3. I just don't think he's good enough of a shooter for defenses to ever take him seriously from out there. I have no doubt in my mind he's capable of knocking threes down, but I think it'll be a similar situation with Draymond, where even though he can knock down threes wide open, teams are still not going to react. Draymond shot 41% from 3 last season, and teams still wasn't really closing out on him. But shout out to Looney. I think he's definitely going to have a bounce-back season. Next, we got TJD, who apparently, according to reports, grew an inch at 24 years old. So he's now supposedly 6'10". Look, from what I know, it is technically possible to have a late growth spurt at 24. But it's highly unlikely. So if this report is true and TJD did grow an inch, I mean, honestly, that does make a difference. He's already a super athletic player, so adding any extra length is a positive. If TJD is 6'10" now, that now makes him the tallest player on the roster, outside of Quentin Post. Probably won't be in the rotation this season. Anyways, that's all I got for now. There's a lot more to cover, so I'll probably do a part 2 to this. So y'all let me know in the comments if y'all want to see a part 2 of the Warriors Media Day coverage. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.